What I'm about to show you about the next 2 weeks will completely change how you think about this winter, and you absolutely need to see this. The latest model runs just revealed the most remarkable atmospheric setup meteorologists have tracked in years, and it's developing right now. We're witnessing a dramatic pattern shift that's bringing intense Arctic air, major snowstorms, and temperatures that could challenge records across America. Before we dive deep, drop your exact city in the comments because I'll be giving specific forecasts for your area throughout this breakdown. What's fascinating is how the European and GFS models are showing polar vortex activity that's even more significant than initially forecasted. This is the kind of pattern that creates the winter weather events people remember for generations. And it's setting up as we speak. Let me walk you through this incredible development starting Monday, January 12th, where this ridge-trough pattern really locks into place. We've got that textbook ridge in the west, trough in the east setup that moved in overnight, and eastern states definitely felt that cold front arrive. The winds were absolutely intense yesterday, and we're now locked into a much more Arctic pattern that's going to strengthen dramatically. Tuesday the 13th brings our first significant action with a clipper system delivering meaningful snowfall to the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Minneapolis and St. Paul residents, this clipper will definitely impact your Tuesday commute, so plan extra time and drive carefully. Chicago and Milwaukee, you're going to see accumulating snow from this system that could create challenging travel conditions. Wednesday is when things become truly fascinating because this trough begins intensifying in ways that are catching forecasters' attention. What's remarkable is how deep this trough digs while southern moisture streams organize into the perfect winter storm configuration. This is exactly the atmospheric setup that meteorologists study when learning about major East Coast winter storm development. Thursday, January 15th is when we really need everyone's attention because multiple scenarios are showing significant snowfall potential. We're tracking moderate to heavy snow throughout the day across much of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast regions. Columbus and Cincinnati residents, Thursday could deliver your most significant snow of the season so far, so prepare accordingly. Pittsburgh, you're positioned perfectly for this system, and elevation differences could create dramatic variations in accumulations. This low-pressure system is remarkably broad, which means snowfall could extend much further inland than typical coastal storms. Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley, this setup has the potential to bring substantial accumulating snow to your region. New York City and tri-state area, you're in that critical zone where small track changes determine whether you see inches or much more. Boston and southern New England, this system could intensify significantly as it approaches, bringing impressive snowfall totals. What's particularly noteworthy is how this low pressure strengthens near New England, creating the potential for a more impactful event. Saturday, January 18th continues the active pattern with more low-pressure systems developing off the East Coast. Here's where forecasting becomes really intriguing. Another system developing offshore could affect weekend plans significantly. The European model keeps this mostly offshore, but we've learned that offshore systems can sometimes surprise coastal areas. Monday, January 20th is another date that's generating serious interest because there's a strong signal for additional winter weather. The European model currently shows more horizontal jet stream flow, which tends to keep most moisture offshore. However, the GFS model is painting a dramatically different picture for January 20th, and this disagreement is fascinating. The GFS shows a much more vertical jet stream pattern, which strongly favors major coastal storm development. If the GFS solution verifies, we could see a massive East Coast snow system affecting areas from the Carolinas to Maine. Charlotte and Raleigh, the GFS scenario would put you in play for potentially historic snowfall that would transform your region. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, this scenario could deliver your most significant snow accumulations in several years. The GFS has been remarkably consistent with this solution, while the European model has been changing its mind every other run. This level of model disagreement 5 to 6 days out tells us the atmosphere is in a particularly complex state. Let me ask you this. which potential storm system has you most concerned? And what's your biggest winter weather question? Drop those questions in the comments because I genuinely love helping people prepare for whatever winter brings. Moving into late January, we're tracking southern slider systems across the deep south that have meteorologists excited. These systems are unique because they combine significant southern stream energy, which can produce more substantial winter storms. Thursday, January 22nd, shows one system moving through quickly, bringing lighter snowfall to northeastern and mid-Atlantic areas. But the following system really captures attention because it has substantial northern stream energy mixing with southern moisture. This combination could produce what we call a significant winter storm, potentially bringing heavy snowfall to northeastern regions. Buffalo and Syracuse, these late January systems could be excellent for your snow totals if you're hoping for an active winter. Albany and the Capital District, you're positioned very well for meaningful accumulations from these enhanced southern stream systems. Now let's discuss the temperature pattern, because this is where the forecast becomes absolutely captivating. We've already experienced our first Arctic taste, bringing normal to slightly below normal temperatures to eastern areas. But what's developing between January 14th and 15th is much more significant. Substantial Arctic air moving through the entire eastern seaboard. Temperature departure maps show well below normal readings across large areas, indicated by those green and purple colors. Detroit and Grand Rapids, you're looking at temperatures running 15 to 20 degrees status. Cleveland and Akron, this cold air mass will be substantial, so ensure your heating systems are ready for increased demand. But here's what's truly remarkable. Around January 20th, we're tracking an even more impressive Arctic air mass. This second wave could bring temperatures 25 or more degrees below normal for mid to late January, which is genuinely significant. Chicago and Milwaukee, this could deliver some of your coldest temperatures in several years, requiring serious preparation. Minneapolis and Duluth, you're positioned to experience some of the most extreme cold from this pattern, possibly reaching dangerous levels. What's absolutely remarkable about the late January forecast is the potential for truly historic cold readings. The polar vortex appears to be disrupting in ways that could bring Arctic air reminiscent of legendary cold snaps. I'm talking about cold that brings back memories of winter 2013 to 2014, when polar vortex became widely understood. The actual temperature forecast shows sub-zero potential for an enormous portion of the country by late January. We're looking at a zone from upper Midwest through Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, northern Mid-Atlantic into Northeast. Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, you could be dealing with sub-zero readings, which would be your coldest temperatures in years. Toledo and Youngstown, this Arctic blast could bring genuinely dangerous cold, where precautions become essential. The majority of this Arctic air mass shows -10 to -20 degrees across areas affecting millions of people. Upper Midwest regions could see -30 to -40 degree temperatures, which would be truly extreme. Fargo and Bismarck, if this forecast materializes, you're looking at genuinely dangerous cold requiring careful preparation. I want to emphasize this extreme cold forecast is still about 2 weeks away, so there's definitely potential for changes. Even if conditions end up less severe, we're still looking at a notably cold pattern that will require attention. The key is we'll gain much better clarity on intensity and duration as we approach these time frames. Tell me something. Are you someone who genuinely enjoys extreme winter weather? Or does serious cold make you want to escape south? I'm really curious about your winter preferences, so share your thoughts along with your location in the comments. Looking at precipitation patterns, we're seeing most activity concentrated along the East Coast and offshore regions. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are positioned to receive the majority of snowfall from these various systems. Maine and New Hampshire, you're excellently positioned for multiple snow events during this remarkably active pattern. Status, LH to status, could bat a status. There's definitely a notable contrast here. Southwest and South Central states show very little precipitation activity. Phoenix and Tucson, you'll continue experiencing high-pressure domination with persistently dry conditions throughout this pattern. Dallas and San Antonio, while much of the country deals with snow and cold, you'll likely see relatively calm weather. European model snowfall projections show an exceptionally snowy pattern for large portions of the eastern United States. Upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and Great Lakes regions all show substantial snow potential. Those pink and light purple colors represent 1 foot or more of total snowfall. That's genuinely impressive for any 2-week period. Green Bay and Madison, you're positioned for remarkable snow accumulations from multiple systems during this active stretch. Rochester and Buffalo, the combination of lake effect and these storm systems could create truly exceptional totals. The GFS model actually shows even more aggressive snowfall projections, particularly for southeastern and mid-Atlantic areas. If the GFS solution verifies, snowfall from the deep south to Maine would be genuinely remarkable for midwinter. Atlanta and Birmingham, the GFS actually shows meaningful snow potential for your areas, which would be quite extraordinary.
Status showing status gives us confidence status.
Now I really want to hear from you. Which city or region would you like me to focus on in upcoming detailed videos? If there's significant interest in a particular area, I'll create dedicated content with comprehensive details for that location. What specific winter weather concerns matter most to you? Snow accumulations, dangerous cold, travel impacts, or power considerations? Your questions and interest help me create content that's genuinely useful for real people facing real winter weather challenges. Let's discuss some practical implications of this pattern for different sectors and winter activities. Agriculture across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes could see significant impacts from extended cold affecting livestock and operations. Transportation and logistics companies should begin planning for potential disruptions from both heavy snow and extreme cold. School districts across potential impact zones should review winter weather protocols and ensure communication systems work properly. For anyone planning travel during this period, flexibility will be absolutely essential as conditions can change rapidly. Energy companies are likely preparing for significantly increased heating demand, especially during extreme cold periods. Retailers in affected areas typically see increased demand for winter supplies, so don't wait until the last minute if you need anything. Let me share some thoughts on effective winter weather preparation based on what we're tracking. Vehicle preparation becomes crucial. Ensure you have appropriate tires, emergency supplies, and maintain fuel above half full. Home heating systems should be inspected and serviced, and consider backup heating options for potential power outages. Emergency supply kits should include non-perishable food, water, batteries, flashlights, and weather radio capabilities. If you take prescription medications, consider refilling them early to avoid potential delays during severe weather. Communication plans with family and friends become important during extended winter weather, especially during power outages. Financial preparation includes having cash available since electronic payment systems can struggle during widespread outages. Property preparation involves checking pipe insulation, cleaning gutters, and ensuring adequate rock salt or ice melt supplies. For anyone with portable generators, now's the time to review safety procedures and ensure proper fuel storage and ventilation. What's particularly interesting about this pattern is how it compares to some notable winters in recent decades. This setup reminds many meteorologists of patterns from winters like 2013 to 2014 and 1995 to 1996, both memorable seasons. Those winters featured persistent Arctic air masses and active storm tracks, very similar to current developing conditions. Polar vortex disruptions we're tracking could lead to sustained cold that made those winters so noteworthy. However, today's forecasting capabilities provide much better advance warning than was available during past events. Modern computer models and ensemble techniques offer detailed information about potential outcomes days or weeks ahead. This allows individuals, businesses, and emergency agencies to prepare much more effectively than previous generations could. The key is staying connected to reliable information sources and beginning preparations before conditions deteriorate. I want to emphasize that while we're tracking potentially significant winter weather, this remains within normal winter variability. Winters like this occur periodically, and with proper preparation and awareness, communities handle them quite successfully.
The most crucial element is maintaining connection to professional weather sources rather than relying on social media speculation.
Professional meteorologists have sophisticated tools and extensive training that help interpret complex atmospheric patterns accurately.
As this pattern evolves, I'll continue providing daily updates to help you understand developments affecting your specific area.
Remember that weather patterns can change, sometimes significantly, so continuous monitoring remains important during active periods.
Uncertainty in longer-range forecast is completely normal and expected. It's actually a sign of honest forecasting.
What matters most is understanding general trends and potential impacts so you can make well-informed decisions.
Let me share some perspective about the broader atmospheric context of what we're observing this winter.
Polar vortex disruptions like we're tracking are completely normal parts of Northern Hemisphere winter weather patterns.
These events occur when stratospheric circulation becomes disrupted, allowing Arctic air to move southward into lower latitudes. While these events can bring extreme cold, they're well-documented phenomena that atmospheric scientists understand thoroughly. The jet stream patterns we're seeing are also within normal winter variability, though they can produce significant impacts. Understanding these patterns helps us appreciate both atmospheric power and our ability to forecast their behavior. Looking beyond this immediate pattern, early signals suggest continued active weather potentially into February. Large-scale atmospheric drivers creating current conditions often persist for several weeks or even longer periods. This suggests the active winter weather pattern could continue well into the traditional heart of winter season. For winter sports enthusiasts, this could mean outstanding conditions for recreational activities throughout much of the season. Ski resorts across the Northeast, Great Lakes, and Rocky Mountains could see exceptional conditions if patterns persist. Water resource managers will monitor snowpack development closely since winter precipitation affects spring and summer supplies. Agricultural planning for upcoming growing season will need to account for soil temperatures and moisture following this winter. Energy markets are likely already factoring increased heating demand and potential weather-related supply considerations. Transportation networks and logistics companies are developing contingency plans for potential weather-related disruptions. All these considerations demonstrate how winter weather patterns affect virtually every aspect of our economy and daily lives. Now, I want to address something important about consuming weather information during active patterns like this. It's natural to want frequent updates when significant weather approaches, but it's important to maintain healthy perspective. Weather anxiety is real, and constantly checking forecasts can sometimes increase stress rather than providing helpful guidance. The best approach is staying informed through reliable sources, preparing appropriately, and then trusting your preparations. Check updates once or twice daily from professional sources rather than obsessively monitoring every model run. Remember that meteorologists are trained to interpret complex data and provide actionable information you can actually use. Community preparedness is also incredibly valuable during significant winter weather events. Check on elderly neighbors, coordinate with family and friends, and be ready to assist others in your community if needed. Winter weather often brings out the best in communities as neighbors help neighbors through challenging conditions. Local emergency management agencies provide excellent community-specific guidance and shelter information when necessary. Many communities have emergency notification systems that deliver timely updates about local conditions and available resources. Schools and businesses often have detailed winter weather policies. Make sure you understand what applies to your situation. As we conclude this comprehensive look at the developing pattern, let me summarize the key points you need to remember. We're entering an active winter weather pattern featuring multiple storm systems and significant Arctic air masses over 2 weeks. Most immediate concerns include snow potential around January 15th and another possible significant system around January 20th. Temperature patterns show increasingly cold air masses with potential for dangerous cold during late January periods. Model uncertainty exists for some systems, which is completely normal at longer ranges. But overall trends remain consistent. Preparation is essential. Winter supplies, vehicle readiness, heating system checks, and emergency kits should be priorities now. Stay connected to professional sources and avoid getting caught up in social media speculation or amateur interpretations. Before I wrap up, I genuinely want to hear from you about which aspects of this forecast you'd like explored further. Should I focus on specific cities, provide more temperature analysis, or offer more detailed preparation timelines? Your feedback helps me create content that's actually useful for your specific needs and interests. Also, tell me which potential storm system concerns you most and what your biggest winter preparation question might be. I read every comment and frequently create follow-up content based on questions and concerns people share. If this detailed breakdown helped you understand what's developing, please give the video a like and consider subscribing. I upload daily during active weather patterns because conditions change quickly and you deserve reliable information. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss important updates as these storm systems approach your specific area. Winter weather can be challenging, but with proper preparation and reliable information, we can navigate whatever comes our way. Thank you for watching this comprehensive winter weather breakdown. I'll see you tomorrow with updated model data and refined forecasts. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember that knowledge remains your best tool for handling winter weather successfully. Until next time, keep watching the sky and take care of yourselves and your communities during this active pattern. Don't forget to share your location and specific questions in the comments. I'll return tomorrow with answers and updated forecasts. This has been your comprehensive winter weather breakdown, and we'll continue tracking this remarkable pattern together.